know if this story is TMI, but I'm trying to be more unfiltered, so I'm just gonna tell you anyways. So basically, I got asked out on a date the other day by a guy that I've known for like several years through mutual friends, and he basically said that he's always had a crush on me, asked me out on a date. I said, yeah, sure, why not? Like, I've always thought you were cute too. I've just always like been with somebody else when he's around. We start texting, he talks about going to play pool and then going on like a painting date. And I mean, this guy's identity is like so unknown and not findable. Like, we don't follow each other on Instagram. I've never posted a picture with him. I've never made a video about him. If I thought that this person was like retraceable, I probably wouldn't expose the things that they're saying like this, but it's not, so I'm just gonna fucking send it. But and honestly, like, it's not that big of a deal at the end of the day. It's just like cringy to me. We text back and forth on and off for like 2 days. Mind you, I ran into this guy at a bar a couple weeks ago when I was on a date with that other guy, and it was a quick side hug. Hey, how are you? Hadn't seen him in years prior to that. So yeah, we know each other, but not all that well at all. Then this morning comes around and I wake up to a text from him at about 8:45. And it says, do you want to see more of me? With the eyes going like this. Those emoji eyes. First of all, sir, it's not even 9 a.m. No, I don't want to see more of you. I respond, trying not to be too presumptuous, but I say, that's a bold text to send before 9 a.m. And he responds and says, I'm a bold person. Jesus Christ. So at this point, I think it's pretty fair for me to assume that he's referring to, I don't think I can say that word, so we're gonna say an elephant pic. I find them extremely distasteful unless, like, I don't know, you're in a relationship and that's something that you do, or you at least know that there's some sort of sexual chemistry between the two of you. Like, we've never even hooked up. We've never even kissed. Like, how do you know I want to see that? Just because I said, yeah, I'll go on a date with you? That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean that I know I like you. Why would you? Anyways, he did ask me though first. I want to mention that. That's not lost on me. There was consent and respect in that degree. So that was appreciated. Well, I didn't respond, and then he said something else about it's dangerous looking at pics of you in the morning. And I said, pics of yourself? Like, I just wasn't trying to go down this rabbit hole with him. And he says, your Hinge profile. To say that I got the heebie-jeebies. Yeah, I got the heebie-jeebies. So I was ready to put an end to it right then and there. Again, not because I'm some prude weirdo. Just like, I don't even know. I don't want that unless I'm like dating you or hooking up with you. And even then, I think it's kind of distasteful. It's just not my vibe. But especially in this scenario, no. So I say, hey, I don't mean to be a bitch at 9 a.m., but I don't actually think we're that alike. And he tries to backtrack. He's like, what? Like, I didn't mean naked pics. And I said, I'm not an idiot. Like, you literally said, it's dangerous looking at pictures of you in the morning. You sent this emoji. You said you're a bold person. As far as I know, sending a selfie or even a shirtless pic doesn't exactly take a bold person to do. So we know exactly where you were going with that, sir. And now you're trying to cover your tracks. And mama ain't stupid. So not only do you not understand the fact that I am a lady, and I don't want your elephant picture before 9 a.m. Now you're trying to backtrack and make me feel like, oh, I made that up in my head, or I assumed the worst of you. Not today. Now he's scrambling, sending me texts like, can we just meet up in person and see like if we vibe? Honey, I do not want to hang out anymore. I'm so sorry, but you just give me the ick. The certified ick with the I'm sorry.
Okay, girlies, enough time has passed where I feel like I can describe the worst date. of my life. I know what you guys are gonna say. You're gonna be all up in my comments like, let's normalize leaving. Like, let's normalize picking up and going. But I'll tell you this, in my defense, I was curious. I wanted to hear everything he had to say. I was genuinely entertained. I wasn't worried for myself, which like maybe I should have been. Maybe I should have been, but let's get into the story so you can see what I mean. First issue is I left Lollapalooza to go on a date with this man. You should never leave anything that you planned with your friends for a man, period, end of story. And I knew that, and I literally said to my friend, I said, I know that this is a lesson that I have to learn. I know I'm gonna be disappointed by this experience, and I'm gonna learn to not put a man in front of my friends. But I looked at my friend, I said that, and then I went. Now, I matched with this guy on Raya. It had been like a month or two since I had Raya. Like, I deleted it for a while, and then he found my Instagram, messaged me, and was like, I wanna take you out on a date. Can we meet up at this wine bar, blah, blah, blah. So that's how I found this man. I get there just a little bit, like a hair earlier than him. So he's like walking in behind me, and I turn around, and immediately I'm like, you look different. You don't look like the pictures that I remember seeing. And his Instagram profile was private. So like, I didn't see any like updated photos, I guess. I just assumed that the ones on the app were updated. They weren't. We looked a little bit older and just different. And look, I don't care about looks at the end of the day. Like, there has to be some attraction there. But at the end of the day, it's about your heart, you know? So I was like, whatever. It's not a big deal. Like, he's still cute. It's fine. Let's sit at the bar and go in on this date. We're sitting there, and immediately I was like, vibes are weird, because he starts talking about how he's been at this bar a lot. Like, he's painting himself as a regular and saying how he like knows this bartender. He's being all like tongue-in-cheek with the bartender. And I was like, oh, he's like been here a lot. Like, I don't know if that's a good thing, because like, what man is coming to a wine bar by himself regularly? You know what I mean? And then we get into the conversation, and immediately I notice he's a little nervous. And I was like, that's okay, it's fine. So he's like just badgering me with questions and like not letting me get a word in edgewise. And there was actually a point where I look at him and I start to interject one of the things that he was asking me with a question back at him, and he talked over me. And I looked at him and I said, are you gonna let me get a word in edgewise? And he was like, oh, most women like love being asked questions. And I said, yeah, but I also want to get to know about you. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, I'll be right back. I was like, okay. So he went to the bathroom, he came back, different person. You guessed it. Yup, he did that in the bathroom. Super chatty, letting me ask him a bunch of questions, and he's revealing everything. I ask him about his family, you know, normal thing to ask someone. He starts telling me about how he doesn't like his siblings, how he doesn't like his siblings' partner, and like just trashing, like dragging their name through the mud. And I don't like that. Even if you do have a complicated history with your family, don't tell me about it on a first date, because I genuinely think how you talk about other people is a direct reflection of how you feel about yourself. So if you're talking negatively about the people who are closest to you, I'm like, that tells me you don't like yourself. By this point, we're like a few drinks in. I'm like, okay, I gotta cut myself off. Like, it was just wine glass after wine glass. And he had gone to the bathroom a few times. He comes back after probably like the fourth trip to the bathroom. By the way, we've probably been there for like an hour at this point. So like, completely unnecessary, right? We start talking about past relationships, and this is where it gets so unbelievably juicy and terrifying. So he asked me about my ex. I tell him, I'm like, we dated for this long. This is why we ended. Like, keeping it brief, keeping it cute, because I'm demure like that. I ping pong it back to him. I say, how about you? You guys, he proceeds to tell me, one, the woman that he dated when he was in high school / college should have been his wife. He says verbatim, I should have married her. I said, okay. And then he tells me how he lived in another city and he dated this one girl like on and off for 2 years, and it was pretty toxic. He says that she has a lot of mental health issues, which, to be fair, to date that man, yeah, you probably do. And he starts telling me how he was seeing this girl and he knew that she was seeing this other like very powerful man. She would go see him and be with him in the night. And he calls her one night when they're not together and he goes, I know you're with that man. And she goes, I am. In his words, I am with that man. He ran me 4 times. And then she proceeded to show me a picture of, you guys, the way that my jaw fully unhinged and dropped. I said, hold on, pause. Because he just kept talking, like as if he didn't say anything. And I said, so wait, she sent you a picture of what now? Why? And he said, oh, well, I asked for it. I said, you what? He said, yeah, I wanted to know what it looked like. And then I went over to her place. You would think that that's where it stops getting bad, but you guys, it gets worse. It gets worse. Then he tells me how he's like currently dating whatever. And I ask him like, oh, are you only on Raya? And he goes, well, yes. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, do you like just not like the other apps? Like, tell me about it. And he was like, no, I actually got banned from one of them, from Hinge, because there were claims that I was stalking a girl that I dated. And I'm like all over, are we dating the same guy in the city that he was in? I immediately am like, danger, danger, danger. This is bad. BAD, capital, underscore, underline, highlight, exclamation point. I gotta go. So he goes to the bathroom yet again. And the bartender looks at me and he goes, just so you know, I don't know that man. And I say, okay. He was like, just, blink twice if you need help. And I said, like, you know what? I'm going to order my Uber right now. So I did. He comes back. He sits down. And I go, look, I got to go. I'm teaching early in the morning tomorrow. That was a lie. It's okay to lie. We have permission to lie, especially in situations like this, ladies. Okay? Lie your face off. Do whatever you have to do to GTFO. So I say, yeah, my car's right out there. He was like, oh, I can order you one. And I said, in my mind, what on earth makes you think, after you admit to me that you were accused of stalking, which you stalked that girl, that I would give you my address? Hell to the no. I was like, no, my car's already here. I got it taken care of. Thanks so much. I get my purse, I walk out. He walks out with me. He chooses now to be chivalrous. He walks me to the car. I'm going to give you guys a visual. This man, by the way, was probably like 6'6", if not taller. Big bear of a man. He's going in for a kiss. This is me. I get home. Remember, he doesn't have my number. We're not even on the apps because I wasn't on Raya anymore at that point. So he only has my Instagram. That's his only way of communicating to me. So I message him, which honestly didn't even have to do. But I just wanted to like fully close the books just so he knows that I know that we know it's not happening. Because like last thing you want to do is give a crazy man false hope. Even a sliver, they'll take it and run with it. So like I wanted to shut it down. I message him. I go, this was like so lovely. I just want to, be so honest with you though. You're not my person. I don't want to waste your time or your resources anymore. But have a nice life, essentially. He responds back to me saying, oh, Kimmy, thank you so much for wasting my money and my time. It was so great, like spending all of my money on your drinks tonight. Loved getting to know you. And I said, the audacity. So I block him. I report him. That was that. Haven't heard from him since, but ladies, be careful out there.
Hey y'all, so this is actually something very different, and I don't know, I just felt the need to speak on it because I haven't really like spoken to like anyone, or I don't even know, like really talked about this. But no one talks about like being like the ex of like someone that just cannot stop dating people when they haven't like fully fixed themselves. Like, it's genuinely embarrassing, like sitting back and like watching him like jump from girl to girl. Like, it's not, it sounds like, oh my god, like, you know, like I'm so jealous, but like no, like I'm looking at this from like a woman's point of view, and I just feel so sad for all these girls. And I just saw, I don't know, I'll be snooping sometimes, like I don't really give a fuck, like I don't give a fuck, I'ma look, like I'ma just look, and I really don't care. But girl, he literally just, him and his girlfriend, like whatever, just broke up like like the weekend before like Thanksgiving. Yes, like I be snooping, like, but I don't be doing nothing, okay? Like I just like to know, like okay, there's nothing wrong about that, but if you're gonna be actively be like up in their business, like letting them know you're there, that's when you've crossed the line, okay? But a week ago he posted a new girl, like, and she already got a tattoo like right above her butt. Like, that's genuinely so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. This man is so psychotic. I'm not even gonna get into like how he treated me, but like this man, girl, like just talking about him like makes me like, it's insane. I'll just talk about like his relationship style. He wants a girl that like keeps her mouth shut and just deals with her own shit like in private. He doesn't give a fuck. He literally does not give a fuck. So like if he or she or anyone who is involved is watching this or knows this man, yo, like, I don't know if I want to say his name. Like, I don't know if I want to say his name. Like, he knows who he is. Everyone knows who he is. Like, everyone that is seeing this and knows who I am knows who this is. Maybe I'll tag him. I don't know. But I don't care if this is, like, out of bounds. But, like, yo, like, I just have to say this. Like, this man is, like, insane. Like, you know? Oh my god, bro. Like, damn. He wants like a lobotomized woman from like the 60s that's just gonna pay no attention to her own feelings and gonna be all up on him. And this is what this girl is probably doing. So that's why he's like, oh, like I've never felt the most love I've ever had in my whole life. So yeah. One, he also accused me of like cheating every single day when one, I never did. And two, he was literally looking at girls' Instagrams and Viscos the whole entire time and then lied about it when I had video proof. Like, he is just filling a void through other people that he cannot fill himself within himself, if that makes sense. Like, he hates women, bro. I think he's gay. Like, I literally think he's gay. It's just genuinely so embarrassing to me. Like, I dated that. And now this girl really thinks, like, I feel sorry for her. And I genuinely feel sorry for him, but, like, he does this to himself. So it's, like, kind of hard to feel sorry. I don't know, y'all. Like, I mean, it's not like I lived with him for, like, a year and a half. So I don't know exactly how he treats people. But yeah, so that's my piece. I mean, don't care.
Right with me while I tell you how the guy I was talking to had a girlfriend the whole entire time. Let me just get it out the way. I didn't know he had a girlfriend, because if I did know, I would not have talked with him. So this man added me on Snapchat, and you know, I went on his profile, looked at his pictures, And he seemed like an attractive man, so of course I added him back. Obviously, we started texting. We started asking the questions like, how old are you? Where are you from? And so that's how I found that he was from my small town. And for the first couple of weeks, we were just texting, nothing serious. We never met up or anything. Until one day, this man wanted to hang out. Oh, yes, it was nothing serious, but girl, I was gonna get a free meal out of this. And so he made the plans, he picked me up, and everything went well. He was a really nice person to talk to, so I was like, why not? Like, might as well have a little fun. And as soon as the date ended, he texted me, I had a great day. I hope we can do this more often. And of course, I was blushing a little bit because I also had a great time and like I wanted to do it again. And I basically replied back with the same thing, that I had a great time and I hope we can do this again. Keep in mind, I sent this message around 8 p.m. and I didn't get a message back until the next day at 3 p.m. And I found it kind of weird, but then he just told me that he was busy, he had work, so obviously I was like, okay, that makes sense. But then I started noticing that he would only text me at a certain hour at the same time every single day. For example, he would start texting me at 1 and then stop texting me around 7:30ish. So I found that really weird and suspicious, because why are you only texting me in those time periods every single day? I decided to let it go because I really couldn't do much about it. And so this kept happening for a couple of weeks. We were just texting and we hung out like a couple of times. Keep in mind, we would only text on Snapchat. We never got each other's numbers or Instagrams or any other social media. So we were just strictly on Snapchat. So girl, I should have seen those red flags, but I didn't. One time I was scrolling through Instagram, and you know how they have the little suggestion thing? And I see his profile picture and I noticed that it was him. So me being a little chismosa, I was like, let me click on the Instagram profile. And once I pressed on it, he had some highlights, but one of the highlights had a red heart in it. I was like, I wonder what he has on this highlight. And I click on it and it's his girlfriend. They've been together for 3 years. 3 freaking years. That moment, I felt so disgusted with myself, because why am I texting this guy that had a girlfriend even though I didn't know about it? But in that point, I felt so bad for the girl that I literally was gonna find her Instagram because I needed to text her. Because if it was me in that situation, I would want the girl to text me about it. Before I texted the girlfriend, I decided to confront this man. There's no way you're making me and your girlfriend seem dumb. And so I hit him up and I tell him that I found out he has a girlfriend. And this man still had the audacity to still lie about it. He was like, no, I don't have no girlfriend, I'm single, what are you talking about? And so I decided to send a screenshot of his Instagram in the highlight and tell him like, is this not you? When he saw that screenshot, he immediately like started apologizing, saying that he was just bored, that he was doing it for fun. Like, dude, do you have any idea how much your girlfriend's gonna be heartbroken right now? And then after that conversation, he started begging me not to tell his girlfriend. Like, hold on, you want to get away with this? Like, no thank you. Like, I'm gonna tell your girlfriend ASAP. And so I ended up becoming a whole detective, and I ended up finding his girlfriend's Instagram. And I literally hated sending this message, but you already know I started with the, hey girl. Yeah, that's basically how I found out that the guy I was talking to had a girlfriend the whole entire time. And the girlfriend didn't believe me at first, but I did show her the evidence, so... But that comes to show that main ain't shit. Well, some main ain't shit.
Get ready with me while I tell you about one of the worst dates I've ever had. I made myself a margarita for this story time, so I'm ready. So usually I don't do story times like this, but I am going back to that same restaurant where I had this pretty terrible date, so I thought it was fitting. It's been almost a year since this happened, and I think it's time to share my story. So I wasn't particularly overly interested in this guy, but I did just move from New York to Miami, and I didn't have a ton of friends. To give you an idea of where my headspace was at, he messaged me on Instagram probably 10 times before I finally responded and decided to give him a chance, because I think I was in the house for 2 or 3 weeks without any socialization. I'm like, okay, I really need to get out there, make some friends, maybe go on a date. And him and I just kind of started talking back and forth, so everything was fine. He suggested we go to this restaurant that I'm actually going to today, and I looked it up. It looked really cool. I did also obviously do my research on him a little bit. We had a few mutuals, so I went ahead and reached out to the girl that we mutually knew, and she said that he was safe and he was a good guy, yada yada yada, but she didn't really know him that well. So I took that upon myself as a green light. I'm like, okay, it will probably be a good time. Let's do it. So I show up at the restaurant and I sit in the booth, because obviously the booth is for the girls. So the way that the restaurant is set up, there's one long booth. So pretty much it was our table, he's sitting on the other side, and then there's another table next to us. The girl's sitting in technically the same long booth chair as I am. So that one long couch is like all the way kind of across the restaurant, and then there's like individual tables and the guy sitting on the other side. So to our right, there's another couple. There's a girl sitting in the booth, like kind of sort of next to me, and then her husband is on the other side. I mean, she had the biggest engagement ring of all time. So she was just so clearly with a partner, boyfriend, fiance, whatever. And the first thing that I noticed, and the first red flag, was the fact that he just kept looking over to her. And it was so obvious. And mind you, it's the first date. It's not that serious. I understand maybe your eyes are wandering a little bit, whatever. I mean, it's not the best thing, but like, we're just getting to know each other here. But I'm telling you, this man looked over at this girl probably 10 to 15 times. Like, it was so noticeable. It kept happening during the night. And I'm just kind of looking over, and it would make a little bit more sense if maybe she was with like another girlfriend or something, but she was so clearly with like her husband. It didn't make sense. Then we're kind of talking about how awkward first dates can be. So I asked him what one of his like worst first dates ever was. He tells me the story about a girl. He's like, oh, well, I was in Brickell. I'm walking my dog, and I have this really cute workout shirt on. Like, you can see my muscles. It's like one of those cutout shirts. And she approaches me and she's like, take me to dinner. She was really attractive. So of course I said yes. Said that she meets him at the restaurant and she's sitting at the bar. She orders like 5 or 6 shots before the date, supposedly. And he's like, it was Classy Azul, like the black bottle, like Classy Azul Gold. So it's really expensive. He's like, but I'm a very generous guy. I'm very generous. He says this throughout our date all the time. Like, I'm very generous. I'm very generous. So he's like, we finally sit down at a table and she orders a margarita with 1942. He's like, I order food, and then halfway through dinner, she gets up to use the bathroom. And he's also telling me that he suspects that she's going to do drugs in the bathroom. He comes back from the bathroom, hands her his underwear, and kind of demands him to sleep with her in the toilet stall of the restaurant. He was like, that's just not something that I do. I don't really respect women that do things like that. Even if a woman sleeps with a man on the first date, I would do it, but I would never look at her the same way. I would like lose respect for her. So I'm just listening to all of this stuff that he's saying to me. He's pretty much telling me that he refuses to sleep with her. So she throws this big fit. She starts screaming at him at the table and storms off and leaves him with a $1,500 bill. So one of the other conversations we had, I was telling him how earlier in the day I saw a homeless man steal some food from Starbucks. And I was living in North Beach at the time, so I told him, like, I see really big mansions and they're usually empty because majority of people don't live in their homes full time. I'm just telling him that it's so disheartening seeing people in such economic gaps. Whatever, I'm just like making conversation, and he's like, oh, that sounds very philosophical of you. Our food comes, and I kid you not, probably 5 to 10 minutes later, he's like, oh, are you done? Because I kind of want to take this to go. I'm like, okay, that's a little odd, but it's fine. He's telling me that he wants to take the food to go to give it to his doorman because he works so hard, which I thought was very odd. Why would you give your leftovers and also a stranger, me's leftovers, to your doorman? I would understand you like wanting to order him a fresh plate of something or something like that, but he just wanted to take the leftovers to the doorman, which I think he was lying. I think he just like wanted to take it home. Once all of that was packed up, he asked me if I wanted this. He didn't ask if I wanted dessert. He was like, you don't want dessert, right? I'm like, no, totally fine. The bill comes and he's scanning it over time and time and time again. And finally at the end, he starts doing the math on the side of the piece of paper, like literally carrying the one and like doing the whole entire equation to figure out how much was like the total. Took an extremely long time with the bill. So he's like, let me drop you home. What kind of music do you want to listen to? And I was like, you know what? Let's listen to some Zach Bryan. We get in his car and we in fact do not listen to Zach Bryan. He's just like screaming his rock and roll band and just singing on the top of his lungs. And he's like, do you know this band? I'm like, no. He's like, oh, well, they're so great. Like, had no consideration of maybe like what I wanted to listen to or my interests. He asked me to rate the date on a scale of 1 to 10, and I said a 7, which he was deeply offended by. He was like, I thought it was at least a 9. Are you crazy? Like, why would it be a 7? And I'm like, I just want to go home. So at this point, I'm just so ready to get dropped off home. I know we're not compatible. I just need to leave the situation. So obviously he's like messaging me a few times afterward. I'm not responding. And he says, what, did the homeless man steal your phone? Which I just thought that was such a distasteful thing to say, especially because of what I said on our date. Point being, just always think twice about who you're going on a date with and Hopefully this time I go to this restaurant, I have a much better experience. Thanks for watching. Bye.
I have a wild story time that I've waited years to talk about. I was honestly never really going to share this, but I did some research the other day and I was like, okay, I feel like I could like talk about this now. Everything that I say in this video is completely alleged. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. So this is a story about how a well-known, I would say maybe like A-list or B-list rapper tried to recruit me to his mansion and potentially traffic me. Setting the scene. This is the summer of 2020. Back then is when I first like kind of had a couple like viral videos on TikTok. My account started to really like reach a lot of people and I grew a following from that. And if you remember me from 2020, I'm so sorry. I was 18 turning 19 at this time. So naturally, when you are going viral and you're starting to get a platform, you get a lot of DMs from people. I had my Instagram linked in my TikTok, so I was getting a lot of people going to my Instagram. Just like anybody, I would read through my DM requests quite often. And there was this person who DM'd me who had like a decent amount of followers, and he was claiming to be this rapper's manager. Some of my memory about this is a little bit spotty, but I do remember that he offered like an opportunity to me to fly out to this person's mansion and party with them. And at the time, admittedly, I was quite naive. I was younger and I was a little bit starstruck about it. And I honestly didn't believe it at first. And I was just kind of like, wait, is this for real? He was like, yes, I'll put you in contact and give you his personal snap so you can talk to him. And I'm like, there's just absolutely no way this is happening right now. So I just wanted to get to the bottom of it. I just wanted to like make sure that this was like for real. Like I had to see it through at this point. So I added the Snapchat. I get added back, and then I can't remember if I or he sent the first message. I'm pretty sure it was him because I was like, well, I don't know what to do now. But it was like in the text of Snapchat. So we're just like talking and I'm like, is this the real? And he was like, yeah, it is. And then he proceeds to send me a video of him talking, says my name, and then tags my Snapchat username. And I was like, there's no way, like I can't even believe this. And then he proceeds to send me more snaps, sends me like videos of his mansion, showing me like where he has parties. The view was beautiful. It's in Malibu. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is like really this person that I'm communicating with right now. Like this is crazy. So I told a few people close to me about this. And I remember somebody, I think it was a family member, was like, he has like allegations against him for like assault and imprisonment. And then I Googled it and there was some allegations. So basically the person that I was telling was insinuating that like, yeah, don't do that. Like that's a horrible idea. You're going to get trafficked. And I honestly didn't really have the true intentions of doing it. I was just like in disbelief. Like I just had to see this through for myself. So I kept this person added for a few days because at that point I started to like just shut down. I was like, okay, yeah, this is like weird. I'm not really going to like engage with it, but like cool, like met a famous person, whatever. And then he asks me very intimate questions about my sex life and if I've ever been with, like things like that. And then proceeds to give me his phone number. And I was like, all right, yep, this is it. Wrap it up. So I deleted him. I was like, that just happened. That was freaking weird. Anyways, moving on. And I was going to probably take that to my grave. Besides my inner circle knowing it, like that was just going to stay with me. I feel like I just kind of moved on from all of that and brushed past it and was like, okay, whatever, anyways. But thinking about this now that I'm older, I get like such a weird feeling about it and just the potential danger that I could have been in if my two brain cells didn't rub together and use common sense. So anyways, I was the other night like, let me just see if there's anything new that's come out about this person. Did a Google search. Last year, like literally in 2025, this person was found liable for assaulting and doing a bunch of horrible things to his assistant. And seeing that made me feel a lot better and like validated to talk about this now because he is a horrible human being and there's probably so many other victims and women. I can't even imagine the amount of people that this recruiter and him scope out, the amount of women and young girls to traffic, and they probably sign these crazy lengthy NDAs and get themselves put in these horrible situations, and it's just awful, honestly.
And just to go off on another tangent, during that time of me being 18, 19 years old, which I had never hid my age, I was very open about the fact that I was young, like just all, like on my social media. The amount of like actors and people in Hollywood, I wouldn't say like really high up actors, but people that are known actors that would like message me. And this doesn't just happen to me. I know this happens to a lot of people. I'm not special. Like they just target women, honestly. But yeah, they would be like trying to like meet up with you or get you to come out to them or come to you. And it's just like all this weird shit that is just, it made me see like Hollywood and all these people in such a different light. Like I've always known it's very dark, but that for me just really sold the deal that like that's not a life I ever would want to involve myself in. I would not want to involve myself in any of those people's lives or with any of those people in any of those circles. Like I'm good with my happy little quiet peaceful life. I'm happy here. But I guess the lesson here for anybody that stayed and listened is if you are a young person, not even having to be a young person, if you're a person that's up and coming and there are men in this celebrity space, you know, targeting you, trying to make you feel special, like they're literally just trying to take advantage of you and use you. And I know it's an old repeated, you know, tale, but it is true. It's disgusting. But anyways, I won't be naming names. You can guess who this person is. His peak was probably 2007, 2010-ish. Whenever I hear his music, I absolutely hate it. I hear it when you're out like at a bar sometimes, or people play it at parties, his music, because it's like very classic for that time. And I absolutely hate it. Deleted all of his music. Just cannot stand him.
Story time on how I found out that my boyfriend was dating 2 other girls at the same time. I'm finally letting the lore out and I'm gonna do a story time. So this was my ex-boyfriend a while ago. We don't really speak about him. But I thought this would be an interesting story time that people would want to hear, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the story. So yeah, y'all heard that right. My ex-boyfriend was dating 3 girls at the same time, and I'm gonna tell y'all how this was figured out because I always find out everything. Yeah, I'm gonna make fake names for everyone. The ex-boyfriend is Bob. The 2 girls are gonna be Ella and Bella. At this time, I was dating Bob for a little while, and honestly, it was never a good relationship. He was always a cheater. I honestly don't know why I stayed. I think it's because I was mentally ill, but that's a story for another time. So basically around this time, it was summer that I found out I was actually on a study abroad trip. What a terrible time to find out. I was having so much fun, and I started realizing like, I'm getting a weird gut feeling. Things feel off. And yes, I had his location 24/7, but things still felt very off. And that's when I started noticing he was going over to this one person's house very often. And I didn't know whose house it was. So I ended up asking him like, hey, like whose house is this? I don't know who this is. And like, I'm feeling a little suspicious of things. He goes ahead and tells me it's his stepbrother's house. He's never had a stepbrother. At this point, I'm calling his mom. I'm like, hey, do you know whose house this is? Like, he said it's his stepbrother's. And she's like, Sarah, he does not have a stepbrother. I'm like, oh, shit. I don't know what to do. So obviously, you know, I'm really good at stalking. Find the address while he's there. Look the address up. Pay money to literally find the owners. And here's what happens. I find the owners' last names, which would be the mom and dad of Ella. Right? Then I go ahead, find the last name, and go into his Instagram following and find the exact match. I go and follow her because I had him on my Instagram. Follow her to see if maybe this was true or not, waiting for her to say something. She ends up responding, or she ends up DMing me, and she was like, hey, who's that guy in your Instagram? Like, who is that? I'm like, that's my boyfriend of like almost a year. I tell you, she responds back and was like, no, that's my boyfriend too. Excuse me? And I wasn't mad at her. I never think it's the girl's fault. I want for fuck men. I don't think it was her fault. She had no idea. This girl was told the exact same thing about my house because he would come over and tell her it was his stepbrothers. Now, me and this girl called for I think 2 hours straight about the whole situation, finding out that he did the exact same things, said the exact same things, sent us the exact same reels. It was insane, and we didn't want to confront him about it yet. So she goes and tells me that he's talking to another girl, she's pretty sure. So we find her Instagram, and we add her to a group chat. Now at this point,
There's 3 girls on this group chat, and we all call for 3 hours. Find out he was dating all 3 of us. We were all so pressed. We were so mad at him. We were trying to come up with ideas like, what do we do? And we started going through all of our Instagram reels and our DMs with him to find out he sent us the exact same reels about getting married and having kids. Exact same. Like, are you trying to have like 3 baby mamas? I don't even care if people from my hometown see this or if he sees this, because you know what? Lore is lore, and I'm gonna tell this story. So go suck a fat one. I also find this story really funny to me, actually. We ended up adding him to a group call and all confronting him, right? And all of us were like, we're so done with him. Like, we're never going back. Like, this is bullshit. And he continued to text each and every one of us individually saying, I love you the most. Like, I want to be with you. I want to be with you. I was like, oh, you're choosing me. Just to find out he said that to each of us. He was still trying to keep going. Like, what? The other girl, Bella, she was really sweet. And I honestly thought we were all going to become friends, because what better bonding moment is there? And we did all become friends for a little bit. We had a whole group chat. And Bella was really sweet, but we honestly kind of like stopped contacting, lost connection. Ella, on the other hand, I've never had an issue with her ever. I mean, we both went through some serious trauma with this, and honestly, I think she went through worse. I always thought me and her would end up becoming friends, but we ended up fighting over him, which, like, why were we fighting over this douchebag? Like, what? It made no sense. Again, still don't know why I stayed. But I don't think girls should be hating each other over a guy that they were both, like, in love with and had, like, past shit with. Anyways, crazy stuff happened. She ended up bullying me really bad and sending me threats, all for this guy. And you know what? I was never mean to her. I was never rude to her. But with everything that happened, I still don't hate her and I still don't blame her, because I can still understand why she's mad. I mean, she went through so much shit, so did I. But, like, I'm all for, like, I'm not gonna go hate a girl. But yes, we both continued talking to him for a good couple months, actually. Worst idea ever. I don't know why either of us tried doing that. And honestly, I think she's still in contact. On the other hand, never again. But that's the story. I have so many more stories, especially when it comes to cheating. Y'all don't understand the lore that I have, and I'm so ready to spill it all. You know what? I'm going off to college last semester. I don't care about any of these people in my hometown. I'm so ready to let the lore out, because the world deserves to know. Okay, we're moving on to the lips. We're almost done. While we wait, look at these new pants I got. They're a men's, but look at this. Anyways, they're so cute. I hope you guys enjoyed my get ready with me. Definitely a story. I don't wish that upon my biggest awe. If y'all want more crazy stories like that, follow me and go to my page, because I have so many. Bye, guys.
Hey loves, a long time no see. I have not been on this account in a long time, but I was getting ready and I was like, you know what, let me get back on here. I think I'm ready to tell my story. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with me, but I haven't really been posting, well, at least on this account. But I did make like a story time as far as like what happened with like my children getting taken by CDS and all of this stuff, and I didn't really explain. So I think now it's time to tell my story, because we're in 2026. I just want this whole topic to stay back there. But I do unfortunately have to show up to court here soon, and I'm like, you know what, let me get it all out of here so that I can be prepared to sit there and talk in front of a judge. And I'm not ready for that, and I truly do not want to be there. But if I don't show up, I'm not, it wouldn't make sense for me not to show up. So let's get started. This whole thing started, the reason why CDS even got involved in the first place was because I left a domestic violence relationship. Now you guys are probably like, really, that's why, like, you left? No, listen, hear me out. So I had been in a domestic violence relationship for a long time, but the thing is that I never really wanted to accept it, because that was my normal, guys. I had been with this person since I was 15 years old. So to me, it was kind of like, oh, you know, this is just a rough patch. I always wanted to keep my family, and I think that's one thing that CDS is struggling to understand, because the whole thing is like, well, why didn't you leave? Why didn't you leave? You know, you put your kids in a situation. I get that, and I 100% agree. I should have left a long fucking time ago. But you cannot blame me for wanting to keep my family. I just wanted my kids to have a two-parent household the same way that I did. But the thing is, I never grew up seeing my parents the way that that we were. And so I don't know, I knew something was off, but I just kept ignoring the red flags, and that was my biggest mistake. And I'm not perfect by any means. Trust me, guys, I am not fucking perfect. And there's a lot of shit that I did wrong in the relationship. But regardless of what the fuck I did, I feel like no man should put their hands on a woman, period. And you know what makes me more mad is that they try to justify it. Like, oh, well, you did this, you did that. Regardless, I don't know who the fuck raised you, but you do not put your hands on a fucking woman. And it was so hard for me to understand and finally be like, no, it was fucking wrong. Because I would always try to be like, well, you know, I did do this, I did do that. I never initiated the fights ever. Like, I never put my hands on him first. It was always him. And he can sit there and say whatever, yada, 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 yada. But he was always very disrespectful to me. Like, he would say out-of-pocket shit. He would just sit there and pick and pick and pick and pick. And then the moment that I would blow up, it was automatically like, oh, let me record you. Let me record you. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, so the day that I was really checking out was because I had just started my business, Jay's Jewels. It was something that I was very proud of because I'm like, girl, like, you're about to own 2 businesses now. I was so excited for this. And I had got on all my inventory. I bought a little box to have all my inventory sorted out. And he had I think in my opinion, he had a drinking problem. And maybe other people will say differently, but the thing is that I was the person that was with him most of the time. I knew how he acted when he was under the influence. I knew certain things, and I hated when people would be like, oh, let him drink, let him drink. It's not about that, honey. You can drink, but it's when you start fucking putting your hands on me and then blaming the alcohol that would piss me the fuck off. But anyways, see, I think I have ADHD because I cannot tell a fucking story. So I had just started my business and we had gotten in an argument. I literally was like, you know what? I'm a leave. I grabbed my car and I left to Target, which is literally like walking distance from my house. Like, it's so close. I was like, let me just go to fucking Target and calm down because I know how this ends. So I grabbed the car and I fucking left. Well, his petty ass decided to text me like, you're like, I can't remember everything. Like, I try to block so much out of it, but something along the lines that he was accusing me of being with another dude and this and that, when really I was just at Target. But I wasn't there to clear shit up. I'm like, think whatever the fuck you want, I don't care. And what he ended up doing was that he grabbed my box where I had all my inventory. I don't know what he was trying to do with it. He swears up and down that he didn't mean to, but he literally put it down, and on the camera it shows how he like he reversed so hard and you could watch my little box breaking. And it literally broke my heart. I remember I was on the phone with my sister because not only that, he took the kids. Like, he ended up getting the kids in the car and just took off, and I don't know where the kids were at. And so I was just having like a lot of anxiety, and I'm like, you know, I just seen my hard work get crushed right in front of me. I was just watching my shit and I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, all the hard work, all the money that I invested into this, poof, gone. So yeah, that was basically one of the breaking points. I did call the police at that time. The police didn't do absolutely nothing. Like, it was like no matter what I would say, the cops would just always be on his side. So it got to a point where I didn't even want to call. I didn't even want to be the burden that kept calling the cops when he did some messed up shit to me, that I just wouldn't bother anymore. And then the last night that I actually pressed charges, that I was like, you know what, I'm fucking done, was when I remember he had gotten home late or something like that, and he was getting wings. Till this day, I cannot eat Buffalo Wild Wings just because I feel like it's a trigger for me. I've got over the situation, you know. I'm like, it is what it is. It happened, whatever. I don't care about it anymore. But it's just something in me that, like, I just won't eat at that place because it reminds me of the day I got my ass beat. Like, I just won't, you know. And so I remember he went to go get the wings, and I didn't know this at the time, but he had taken my uncle with him, and they were taking so long. He was taking so long. I was like, where are you? You know, like, we're hungry. The kids were asking where he's at. The thing with the kids, they knew that he would just leave at night and not come back. And so they would always be on edge about, where's my dad? Where's my papi? Where's my papi? Where's my papi? And so I was the one that had to sit there and lie and lie and lie and lie and be like, your dad's at work, your dad's this, your dad's that, because my kids were just like me. Like, we had that anxiety of, is he coming home? Is he not coming home? And let me tell you, now that he is gone, my kids are doing so much better, because they're not sitting here thinking, oh my god, is my dad gonna come home today? Oh my, like, why does, and they would ask, they would be like, why does my daddy like to drink and have fun without us? Baby, I don't know. I would be like, baby, I don't know, but I'm here, you know? I would try to get them to understand, like, I'm the one that's here, and they just felt like it wasn't enough, you know? But anyway, so I had to sit there and be like, oh, he's almost here, blah, blah, blah. He got there, got the wings. I didn't know this until way after. My uncle said that he had like 7 shots. I don't know. Don't quote me. I wasn't there. I don't know. But he told me that he had some shots when he was in there waiting for the food. So he was already under the influence when this happened. And he was drinking outside with my uncle. So I'm already getting like irritated, because I already know how this ends. I'm like, you better get inside. You better not be drinking, this and this and that. I felt like I was somebody's mom to a grown man child. I don't know how to explain. I just felt like and I hated being like that. I hated it. Like, he thought I was just nagging, that I was like this, I was that. But it was like, dude, you're a grown man. Like, you're 30 years old. Get it together. You don't need to be drinking all the time. You have a family at home waiting for you. Like, I get work is stressful. I get this. I get that. But I was stressed out too, guys. I was basically the one taking care of everything at home. I was still running a business. I was doing so much, and I was so stressed out. And on top of that, I was worrying about him cheating, drinking, staying out late. You know, it was so much stress on me. But you know what? I never fucking sat there and used alcohol or drugs as a freaking excuse to do, you know, to do certain things. And I'm running out of time, guys. It's because I have ADHD. I swear I do. I'm self-diagnosing myself.
That's a really good point, Diane. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Thank you.
Okay, so if you came back for part 2, thank you so much for staying for to listen to my story. But I don't know where I had left off. I think I had left off where he had went to go get the wings, and my uncle had basically told me later on that he had like 6 or 7 drinks there. So yeah, I was already texting him. I think I already said this. So I was already texting him, like, you know what, I'm done, I'm this, I'm that. Because one thing about me is that I was just tired of it, guys. I was tired of never feeling secure in my relationship, and I hated being that person to be on his ass all the time, because like I said, I hated being like that. I genuinely did not want to be like that. I wanted him to do whatever he had to do, but it was just the trust. The trust was not there, and once the trust is not there, nothing is there. Like, it's just nothing. There's nothing left. So since there was like no trust left, the whole relationship went downhill. So anyways, he got there, he went inside, he left us the wings, and he just went back outside. And I'm like, you know what? The thing is, with me at the time, my highlight of the day was when this man came home. When he walked through that door, it was like, finally, you know? I was alone all fucking day. I promised myself I would not fucking cry, bitch. I'm not fucking crying. But it just, you know, I look back at her and I'm like, girl, you were like, you really loved him. As much as people sit there and say like X, Y, and Z, your girl really did love that person. You know, I would have put up with so much shit if I didn't. And girl, you're about to ruin your makeup. You're about to ruin your makeup. But yeah, that was my highlight of the day all the time. It was just like, when are you coming home? Are you done from work? Are you done? Like, so every time it would hit Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, I would have anxiety, you know? Pause. Anyways, so yeah, I would basically start to get anxiety anytime it started getting closer to the weekend, because I just knew that I was gonna sit there waiting by myself, and it was the worst feeling, guys, to sit there and wonder if your partner is gonna come home or not. It really does suck. And honestly, girls, if you're in this situation, leave. I know it's gonna suck for a little bit, but you guys understand the relief that I feel now, that I don't have to sit there and wonder if somebody's gonna come, or is he gonna disrespect me today. But going back to the topic, okay, so I remember he put the wings down and he left, and it kind of broke my heart, because I'm like, all I ever wanted was to, you know, a family. Like, I just sit there and wait for you to eat. Like, I just want to eat together. Like, is that so wrong of me to want someone to just be there, you know? maybe maybe I shouldn't rely on anyone, you know. But that was how I was thinking at the time. And whatever, he left back out, so I was talking my shit. I'm not gonna sit here and justify, I mean, like, shit, I was wrong too. But who wouldn't, you know, who else wouldn't be irritated when you've been through this so many times, so many years? They've said they were gonna change, you know, they say all this bullshit, and at the end of the day, it's the same fucking shit every time. So I was irritated. I started texting him. He finally comes back in, and he's talking shit to me, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. So he gets up. I was on my phone on the couch like this. He grabs my phone and just fucking slams the fuck out of my phone. And the kids were just like, stop. Like, what are you doing? You know, we just kept grabbing it and throwing it, grabbing it and throwing it. And I'm like, well, there goes my phone. And so I think I remember at the time, I got up and I pushed him. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you? Why do you do certain shit? Like, I just can't comprehend, because I've never broken his shit. As mad as I've ever been, I've never broken his stuff. Breaking? I don't know. So I was like, what the fuck? And I remember he started, like, when I started seeing that look in his face where, girl, run. Because I already knew, like I said, I've known this man for a long time. So when I seen that face that he looked like he was getting ready to, you know, do some shit that he shouldn't, I remember I went to the kitchen and I grabbed, it was literally like the weakest little, I can't say it on here, I don't want to get banned, but it was, just know that I grabbed something from the kitchen. But obviously I didn't do anything with it. I was literally like this, like, stay away from me. Didn't last long. That thing was taken from me in like 5 seconds. And I was all the way to, I think I was trying to run to the back to go get my uncle, because he does live with me. And I was going to the back, and by the time that I was like over here, mind you, I'm at the back of the house, he had managed to grab me by my whole fucking head. And when I tell you guys, he dragged me from my head, my whole weight. I'm like 150 pounds, 155. I'm a little chunky. I'm a chunky girl. So he grabbed me and he fucking dragged me. And I don't know if you guys can see this little step right there. There's like a little step to get to the kitchen right there. He did not give a fuck, guys. My whole body was slamming shit. In the moment, I didn't feel the pain. I remember just screaming because it hurt. I mean, like, I think, like, I don't really see, the thing is, that's what I'm talking about, and I feel like people think I'm lying. I'm not lying. It's just that I tend to block that part of it out, because I think it was so much like pain / adrenaline / so much shit going on at the same time. And I remember just holding my head, and I was like literally trying to get him off of me, and I was screaming. That's all I remember. I think the kids remember that I was just screaming. And here I go again. I'm not a weak ass bitch, bro. I promise. I've done therapy since. I've done so much, you know, to help with all this. But I remember once he finally got to the front where the couch was, he had me like this, right? And you know when you give a dog a toy and then they grip onto it and then you go like this, and then the dog's like, well, I hate to compare it to that, but I remember he grabbed me and was just like this with full force, because like he did not try to be gentle. Like, he didn't care that I was a girl. He was a man. And so I remember Kaylani was like, let her go. So she finally let me go, and then she came and hugged me. She was like upset because she kind of saw it, you know, she witnessed it. And I remember I sat up and I was going like this. I went like this, and I was having balls and balls and balls and balls of hair. When I tell you guys, for a week straight, I did not wash my hair. I could not brush my hair, because my scalp hurt so bad that I couldn't even sleep. Like, I would sleep like this, it would hurt. I would lay like this, it would hurt. I would lay like this. And then I always forget this one part, but somewhere in the whole midst of whatever the fuck was going on, I think he had me pinned, and I still have a scar till this day. I don't think that's ever gonna go away. It's been well over 6 months that this happened, and the scar's still there. And I remember I was like, what happened? And then I went back trying to analyze, like, what happened. I remember he had me pinned on the bed, and I was trying to get out. I was like literally trying like everything to get him off of me. As a woman, I did try fighting back. I really did. And this is the whole thing where they flipped the script on me, like, well, she pulled this out and she did this. Of course. I was getting my ass beat by a grown man. What would you do? And I tried everything I could, but he was just so upset. Like, it's like whenever he was under the influence or where the fuck he was on, he did not care. Like, he did not care what the fuck he was doing. If he hurt me, like, he genuinely would say, oh, I don't remember this, that wasn't me. And it was tiring. Like, it was always the same thing. Like, mind you, I'm only telling you one story, one or two stories out of many stories. And so yeah, like, finally, like, I didn't have, like, he finally left, and I didn't know how to call my parents. So I remember I had my tablet. I went to look at my tablet. I FaceTimed my little brother at like 2-3 in the morning. He answered, and I didn't say much. He already knew. He went to get my parents. My parents came and got me, but it was just something that I didn't want to do, guys. I did not want to press charges, but it was like, something has to be done. And you know why I did press charges was because my oldest daughter said, Mommy, you need to call the police. And if my 7-year-old is telling me, do something about this, girl, that's the only confirmation that I needed to say, fuck this, and I'm never, ever gonna go through this, because my daughter sat there and watched everything. What mother would I be to sit there and have her think that's normal? Like, you don't fucking do that. And it just took me so long to leave, but that was the one time that my daughter said, call the police, do what you have to do. And so I did, and this is where I thought the nightmare would end, but no, this is where it started. So go to part 3 so I can finally finish the story.
Little white men from the United States scurry to me like rats.
Okay, guys, so we're back. I had to get it together for a little bit. So yeah, I ended up pressing charges. The cop literally told me, you need to put a file for a restraining order immediately. As soon as I leave, go do that. So I did. I followed everything that they told me to do. They said, do not let him see the kids whatsoever. I did everything I was supposed to do. I did everything, guys. This is where I'm saying I did everything I was supposed to do. Cool. So I stayed at my mom's house. I didn't feel comfortable coming back to my house. And I get a call through my mom's phone, because I didn't have a phone. My phone was broke. So I get a call. It's Child Protection Services, and they said, hey, we need to get to your house right now. I'm like, well, I'm not home. You know, I'm at my mom's house. They come out. I tell them the story. They said, cool. I don't see a case here. You did everything you were supposed to do. I think we're just going to go ahead and close this case out. Cool. That's what I thought was going to happen. They were going to close the case out. Everything was good. And then from there, the family started bugging. The family started reaching out to me saying I can't keep the kids away from their dad, that this and this and this and that. They showed up to my mom's house demanding the kids, trying to tell, oh, but did you know Vero this, Vero did that? Remind you in the story where I grabbed something to defend myself that literally lasted 5 seconds. That's where they were bringing it up. Oh, but Vero did this, Vero did that. And my mom said that she was like, I don't give a fuck what my daughter did. I would have done the same thing if a grown man put his hands on me. And the thing, like I said, that wasn't a normal thing for us. We didn't grow up watching that shit. Maybe they did. Maybe it was normal for them. I don't know. But for me, it wasn't. And so it just was very discouraging, because I was like, the one time that I defend myself, I'm the bad person. I'm literally the worst person ever. And so that kind of broke me. They went to my house. I have video footage of when they're going to my house. I wasn't home. I was getting groceries for my kids. They went to my mom's house. They were just bugging and bugging. And then I was literally telling them, hey, I'm not saying I'm going to keep the kids away forever. I'm not saying that. I'm like, just give me some time. You know, I had just went through this. I had detectives coming to take pictures of me. I had caseworkers coming to my house. I had CPS on my ass. I had so much. On top of that, my head was hurting. Like, my head, I could not fucking brush my hair for a long time, but how much in pain I was, you know? And you mean to tell me that I'm supposed to just say, yeah, here you go, like, take my kids? No, I was not okay in the head. Like, that's what they failed to realize. And I hope to God that they don't ever go through the shit that I fucking had to go through, because no one will understand me until you've literally went through what the fuck I went through. So I was like, hey, just until I get directions on what to do, I will not be giving you guys my kids. I'm not. And then he ended up taking both of the cars that were under both of our names. Cool, whatever. I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't. But what I had a problem was that he wasn't paying the vehicles, that they got repoed. And I'm like, whoa, like, now I have 2 repos under my account. I was angry. I reached out to the family, hey, can you guys just let them know to pay the cars? Like, you know, this is affecting me too. I don't care if he keeps them, blah, 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 blah. Nobody responded to me. So, okay, cool. I made a post. Hey, can you guys help me find my car? If you're not going to pay for it, let me get it back. I'll figure it out. I'll find a way to pay for it. Okay. So I made a post. Apparently, from what I was hearing, is that he was hiding the cars. I don't know. I wasn't there to confirm what the fuck was going on. Till this day, I never got the cars back. I don't know what happened to the cars, but your girl got a new car, so it really doesn't fucking matter. It does suck that I have 2 repos under my credit, but it is what it is. Lesson learned. Fast forward, no contact order finally gets in place. They serve him with the paperwork. I was like, okay, cool. You know, this is going to be good. I was living my life. You know, I was working on my business. I was yada, yada, yada. I was going out. I was having fun. I was finally living my life. Keep in mind, guys, I was with this person since I was 15. I didn't get to live my life. I was a mom at 16, turning 17. Like, I did not get to live my life. So I was like, whatever. No angry man in sight. I'm gonna live my fucking life. And I was. And then it was my birthday, okay? This is the most heartbreaking part of the story. I was feeling good mentally. I had no contact with him. Everything was going good. I was like, yes, like, you know, life was doing good. It was my birthday. We were celebrating our 1-year anniversary. KB Beauty. I had 2 cakes, one for my birthday later on that day, and one that I was cutting on live. I was on live and I seen that his mom, his sister, and I think his brother, I could be wrong, but part of his family went into my life, right? Mind you, me and my youngest, it was just me and my youngest. The other 2 were in school. I ordered breakfast. I had my birthday breakfast ordered here. We ate. I did a live. This was my only income at the time. My only income. So a girl had to do what she had to do to survive, you know, providing for her kids on her own, because I didn't get money. I didn't get child support. I didn't get absolutely nothing. This was my only way to provide for my kids. So my youngest like, Mommy, I'm hungry. So she wanted her. I was like, oh, hold on, baby. Let me finish. We had just ate. So it really wasn't a concerning thing. So tell me why they called CDS and was like, hey, she's on live. She's not feeding the kids. We're concerned, blah, blah, blah. It was an anonymous call. But what they didn't know is that my case manager at the time told me who it was. She probably wasn't supposed to, but she told me who it was. Because they even showed up to the CDS office after the children were removed to say the exact same thing, that I was doing a live and they were concerned about the kids and this and this and that. Fucking bullshit. Because if you were that concerned about my fucking kids, you would have made sure that their fucking daddy figured out a way to send money. If you guys were that concerned that my kids were eating, why didn't you guys help financially? You guys could have called, hey, you guys didn't have a protection order. You guys could have said, do you need anything? Do the kids need anything? Do they have food? Do they have enough food? Yes, the fuck we had food, because one thing about me, you could take my cars, you could take shit away from my business and affect my income. You could take everything you want and I'm still gonna come back up stronger than ever. And that's exactly what the fuck I've been doing. And so that could have been done. If you were that fucking concerned, you could have called. You could have fucking called and asked. But no, you guys were being fucking petty because you saw that I was living my fucking life and you guys couldn't handle that. And so what did y'all do? Y'all call fucking CDS. But the thing that they didn't know is that CDS did not remove my children because of my mother, how do you say this? They didn't remove them from me because I was being a bad mom. That was not the reason. The reason why they got removed is because they interviewed the children at school. And guess what? The children said, yeah, I still see my dad. Mind you, we had been in no contact for, I think at the time it was like 3 months. Absolutely no contact. And my kids were just trying to be normal kids and said, yeah, my dad took me to school this morning. My dad this, my dad that, when it was not true. And so the CDS immediately took their word for it and removed my children because I put them in danger. The fact that CDS felt that they were in danger because they were seeing their dad, which they weren't, really just tells you the shitty person that he is. At the end of the day, he still is the father of my kids, and I do not wish him bad. I really don't. As much as people think that I do, I don't wish him bad. Truthfully, I hope he heals from whatever the fuck he's got going on. I hope one day he opens his eyes and realizes that what the fuck he did wasn't right. But all he can do going forward is do better for his kids. That's it. I don't want nothing to do with that man. If it were up to me, we would be in no contact for the rest of our life. and hopefully it is that way. But I truly don't mind if he is in my children's life. I would love for my kids to have a relationship with their dad. Who wouldn't? But I'm also okay if they don't have a relationship with their dad, because one thing about me is, girl, I got this shit on my own, help or not. But that's the reason why my kids got removed. It wasn't because I literally was not feeding my kids. My kids were healthy. There was proof that I had food in the fridge. There were so many things. And I fought for my fucking kids to get them back. I did. I got an attorney. I'm still paying off the attorney. But I would have done it in a heartbeat if it happened again. I do not play about my fucking kids. The moment that this happened, I could not eat, I could not sleep. I was rotting in my mom's couch for days. I didn't want to eat. I remember my mom probably was worried about me, and she was being strong for me. But that happened. It passed. My kids are back home. They have been home. They've been happy. They had a very, very good Christmas. I think the best Christmas that we've ever had. So fuck whatever people have to say about me. I know I'm a good mom. I know I'm doing everything. I'm busting my ass for them by myself, no help. And guess what? We still have a roof over our head. We have a car now. We have groceries. We have everything that we need. So it is what it is. But bye, guys. That was my story. I probably missed a bunch of points, but if I need to go more in detail, if you guys have any questions, you guys can comment down below. I'm very open on this platform, as you can tell.